Ziggy the Wine Gal, wine and spirits expert and broadcast journalist. I'm very excited about this Allvino segment today because not only, as always, is it Allvino American wine all the time, but we are Sonoma-centric today. We are in the Carneros area of Sonoma at the Shellville Grill. We are having a fabulous time, and we are here with some expert palates, expert fun people, and expert friends. So to introduce my co-host, Chris Sawyer, and then we'll introduce our guest today. I'm super excited that Chris and I are doing this today in Sonoma because we have some fun things up our sleeve for you today that you might not be expecting.
So on my side of the table, this is the C side of the table, you're the Z side. So I have Amy Groth. Her and her husband are great distillers in this area of spirits and bourbon, which is fantastic. We'll have Fred introduced in a minute. He's across the table from her. But more importantly is our great host, Matthew Nagan. Matthew, we're so happy to be here at your fabulous Shellville Grill. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I wanted to bring our friends here to just share this with you. We're going to taste a little bit of your food in a few minutes, but tell us a little bit about this Shellville Grill.
Shellville Grill, I believe, is one of Sonoma's last little hidden gems. And I'm very proud that you guys are here trying the food and the wine. So I hope you had a really good time, and it's going to be a great afternoon. And thanks.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
All right, non-Team Z over here. We have Fred, who is my spiritual leader in all things Sonoma. Get it? So he distills all kinds of Sonoma goodness here, from everything from limoncello, figcello, which is one of my favorites, bourbon, brandy, rum, all kinds of goodness, and has an expert palate. It'd be fun to bring him on board in our Sonoma-centric segment. And we have Janine here today, who has been in the wine industry for a couple decades now, although by her looks you couldn't tell it, the young star that she is, and so she brings a wealth of knowledge, not just of this area, but of wine as well. So I thought we'd have a well-rounded palate with all these guests here, right from Sonoma at the Shellville Grill. Shellville, Sonoma-centric, spiritual lifter, super wine. I'm finding an S alliteration happening here.
A lot of palates at this table right now.
The first thing that we're going to taste is one of my favorite varietals, Pinot Noir. Although I have to say, people are always like, Ziggy, you know, you talk about hundreds of wines on your radio shows all the time. What's your favorite one? And I always say, well, the one in my glass. Because if it made it to my glass, that means it's my favorite wine. But this Pinot Noir is absolutely delicious. Being in Sonoma, we think about a lot of regions here in Sonoma that are producing Pinot Noirs. But we're kind of looking outside of Sonoma today for Pinot and going up to a legendary area in Oregon called the Willamette Valley that's making some incredible Pinot Noirs. And what a better place to taste it than with Sonoma-centric people that love Pinot Noir.
Absolutely. And right here also in Carneros, so I mean we're right where we're at is basically the line, very close to the line between Napa and Sonoma. It is an area that is shared between both Napa and Sonoma. Is the Carneros appellation. It was granted in 1983, the same year that Willamette Valley was granted in Oregon. But this year is a very special year in Oregon because it's the 50-year anniversary of the planting of the first ever Pinot Noir vines in the state.
Well, hashtag fun fact.
Hashtag. It is really a great one, and that's why we've got the Spindrift right here. This is the 2013 vintage of the Spindrift, Willamette Valley. This is a husband and wife team. They are committed to making high-quality wines. It's one that you don't see on every rack across the nation because it's such smaller kind of production. They're a husband and wife team, but also with 3 kids, and they really enjoy what they do. Spindrift is a classic term, as many of their wines are called, named after ships or sailing vessels up in Oregon. And I lived on the Oregon coast at one point in Astoria, Oregon, when the movie Goonies was filmed in that same town.
Wait, is that another fun fact?
And also Kindergarten Cops, and he became...
All those important films!
This is important stuff for you guys to know. You know, seeing these sailing vessels out there in the ocean is a classic thing of Oregon, and I think that these guys really have a lot of fun with it. You might note one thing about it too. Screw cap!
Love it!
Love it!
That means it's picnic friendly and ready.
Yeah,
Yes.
and ready to be drank right after you open it. And we're really loving this wine right now. So let's get into this as a team. Let's do our swirls. We got great burgundy glasses here.
Let's do.
You know, the first thing I've noticed about this wine is the color. You know, there's a lot of Pinot Noirs that I've had the past couple of years where, quite frankly, before you're even told what it is, you look at it and it's this deep, dark, lush, almost, you know, black garnet color. And in fact, when you go to the region of Burgundy, you're not going to find a Pinot Noir of that color. I mean, you know, this truly is a gorgeous expression in color of this particular varietal. And when you think about aromas and you think about what's happening in Burgundy every time you open a delicious bottle of that Pinot, and you're getting that. I'm getting that sense of place here from Willamette Valley, that thumbprint of the vineyard, if you will, and I'm getting some beautiful hints of earth, some nice black tea. I'm getting just a little bit of baking spice, which is pretty sexy, but most importantly, I'm getting that dried cranberry, a really pretty dried red cherry. Just a beautiful, beautiful Pinot.
Yeah, wonderful fruit.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
isn't it beautiful?
Really
There's
nice.
also a very nice touch of what we call forest floor on here too. That kind of pretty, kind of mushroomy kind of effect. Makes me start thinking about doing some Asian cuisine with this and some kind of fusion with a nice broth and a wild mushroom kind of udon-y kind
Or
of
black
thing.
bean sauce, you know, some duck with black bean sauce, if you're talking Asian. I think anything, also with a little hint of ginger is going to pair well with this. You know, that little bit of spiciness that I'm getting in here, like that baking spice almost, compared to, or in conjunction with that earthiness and that black tea, I think that would be a delicious pairing as well. But just by itself, it's absolutely wonderful. And with cheese, I mean, I'm going to try and pair a cheese with this that has something a little bit more acidic, like a fresh chef, a beautiful fresh goat chef. And since we're in Sonoma, of course, I'm thinking of Redwood Hill Creamery that makes an extraordinary, you know, fresh chef.
Wonderful wine.
Yeah, this is just terrific. I want to pair with all
the
kinds of
weather
things now.
today feels like fall, and this to me tastes like fall.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it does.
Absolutely.
But
Fall
think,
in glass.
Yeah.
but also think about the
Finally here.
fall conditions that we get into. We start getting into soups. We start
Yes.
getting into things
Stew.
like that, and stews. And this is that kind of wine that has a lot of complexity to it that can really work well with so many different layers here. Great acidity and very good structure. This is not a lightweight little
No,
Pinot.
not at all.
It's kind of graceful in its own way, but it's got that structural
It's got
component
spunk,
to
too.
Yeah.
it. Spunky.
Yeah,
Spunky.
beautiful,
Spunky.
beautiful acidity, which is important. Of course, acidity is the backbone for any wine, but that acidity also is leading it to be a very good food wine. You know, I mentioned fresh chef cheese earlier, but all these other descriptors with soups and stews, and of course, some Asian cuisine that you talked about earlier. It's going to be a great pairing with this. Again, you know, and I've said this time and time again, my grandmother's adage of, you know, white wine has to go with chicken and red wine it has to go with steak. I think this is the kind of wine that crosses the border on either way.
Yep.
I would have this with pasta dishes, lighter pasta dishes.
Polenta.
But yes, polenta is a great pairing.
Screaming
with it,
polenta.
right?
Save some for me so I can have it tonight.
I mean, the Italiano in you is definitely coming out when you say
Oh,
polenta.
Or you
But I'm
were
thinking
talking
sun-dried tomatoes too on
Or
this
we were
with
talking
polenta.
about, you
wonderful
know,
wine.
spindrift,
Good
you
choice.
were talking about the sea, the ocean
Yep.
stuff. You know.
Cioppino. Ah, Cioppino.
That's a San Francisco.
You like
That's
that
a
word?
San Francisco
I like that
thing.
one.
I'm Italian.
The Cioppino.
You
Yeah,
gotta
I'm
do
thinking of
this.
paella.
You can't just
Oh,
say it
yeah,
without
yeah.
doing this.
Paella would be really
Yeah.
good.
You gotta have the
When I-
hand
wonderful.
movements.
When I smell this, I
It's
just
wonderful
think
wine.
of romance. You know, it's and then when I taste it, it's so smooth.
She
And
says
you've
as she
got that-
looks across the table. That's
Yeah.
Ooh, fade in, fade out, and it's the cross.
But it's you know, it just smells so lovely. The nose is so great, and it's very smooth. It's very romantic.
Uh-oh. I think
The
candlelight
cherry-
needs
Yeah,
to be
man.
popping up
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now.
But
Maybe we need
A little early for the
laxity.
candles, but we'll get there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, paella, anything grilled, Italian. I'm a huge fan of Willamette wines because I lived in Portland for 14 years.
Ah,
so I
that's
love
in the
Willamette
bag.
wines. But this is very lovely. This is a treat. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely delicious, and that's why we love discovering things like this at Allvino, because you never know what's going to come up. And these small producers that are doing extraordinary wines that would be hard to find, you're going to find them right here on Allvino all the time. So cheers to that, and
Absolutely.
let's talk about
Fantastic
some
selection.
great wine.
Fantastic.
Cheers.
That's a find.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Thank you so much.
All right, on to this wonderful, wonderful wine here at Allvino. We have a delicious 2011 Fourth Vineyard, Fourth Winery, Cabernet Sauvignon. This one's called All Boys. Jan and Jerry Forth are such great neighbors of mine in the Dry Creek Valley, and these guys make extraordinary wines. In particular, their Cabernet Sauvignon. This is absolutely an extraordinary wine, which I think is really cool to bring up the fact that most people think about Dry Creek Valley as being a region for Zinfandel, when in fact their Bordeaux varietals there do extraordinary well, and I'm always looking for those hidden gems, which is one of the reasons I'm excited to see this at Allvino today, because the Cabernet Sauvignon that is grown in the Dry Creek Valley, absolutely delicious. And Jan and Jerry make a delicious wine, and you know what? Let's drink.
Absolutely.
Cheers. I mean, taste. I'm excited about this.
Call it what it is.
I love these guys. Yeah.
Well, let me say one thing about it before we go too far. It's called All Boys. We've got 2 sons and 4 grandchildren, and they're all male. So this is you'd think it's a high testosterone kind of wine. It's actually got a lot of elegance and finesse to it. So let's talk about that. What do you guys think about this on the nose?
Well, what I really like about the entire wine is that, coming off summer, drinking a lot of whites, rosés, and lighter red wines, and this is something that has a little bit more to it, especially on a cold day. It's like, wow, I'm getting like a lot of these more cold weather type feelings going on. So that's what I really like about it. It's something different, and with that kind of leathery, smoky, peppery thing going on. It's like this is a bigger kind of wine for fall and winter and food.
I totally agree with that. The tannins are integrated into it, which is nice and has a great texture to it, which I'm really appreciating. It's drinking great now, and this Bordeaux glass is allowing it to open up nicely and to release the aromas, but it's also allowing the texture really be right at the forefront. When I take a sip of it, I really am enjoying this wine.
What I do like on the nose right now, it's not overpowering at all.
No,
it isn't.
Which really surprises me.
Yeah, there's a lot of finesse just on that nose, especially. I get a lot of tobacco. I get that little bit of black olive. There's definitely that leather note to it too, but it's very intriguing. And the thing about it, you can smell it and you go, you know what? This is approachable wine versus being one that is going to be so many big blackberries in your face that I might not be able to drink this right away. Yeah. And instead, this one is actually really nicely,
incredibly balanced.
Yeah, it's balanced, exactly.
For a 2011, it is. I mean, and that was my first thing. I was waiting to get and it's not. It's very approachable. It's not in my face, and it really makes me want to taste it now.
There's a nice little kind of roasted walnut note to it too, especially on that finish. It's a pretty wine. So Matthew, tell us a little bit about the little appetizer here that you and I picked out for this.
Well, I'm glad when we talked about it, I didn't know you were going to pair it with the cap. So now that I looked at what I made, this is going to it's going to be fantastic with the cap. So what I did is I took pork loin and I smoked the pork loin, and then I have a little white bean on the bottom, and some red bean and white bean and red onion, and then on top I had apple, and so I did a little apple horseradish coleslaw to kind of balance off the smoke.
Are we making you hungry, by the way?
So I want you guys to try and tell me what you think about it with the wine, but I think this could be a home run.
You had me at pork.
Not knowing what we were going to do with this wine, but it's
the really other thing is that this is a wine that I feel like it really has that natural acidity. Sometimes with Cabernet Sauvignon, especially in hotter areas, you add acid to it, whereas it's not really the purity of the grapes that you really would want, like you have in Bordeaux. And I think that this, just because Dry Creek is actually positioned very well, very near the ocean, here in Sonoma County, and it's a fascinating area because you can grow not only old vine Zinfandel there, but you can also grow great Sauvignon Blanc, Merlot, and in certain spots, really good Cabernet Sauvignon that's much more European style.
Yeah, I agreed with that. Let's try a taste of this appetizer and see where we're going to go with this.
You're getting hungry, aren't you?
I keep smelling it and I'm going, this is tantalizing.
I already took a bite. Oh my gosh. This is so amazing. When you said walnut, you know, the taste of walnut, and you said the apple on top.
Well, apple honey.
Oh, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
And apples always make me think of fall, and just wine does too, kind of just something a little bit more.
It's
But
really, that's a home run.
It's absolutely
That's a really
perfect
well balanced
pairing.
wine.
But once again, remember,
Especially for the
we're
year.
not making a big, huge steak here, and that's not all that you can do with Cabernet Sauvignon. You don't have to just do steaks at all. This is a very nice, kind of leaner kind of meat right here. Smoked so nicely, it's so moist,
beautiful.
and just everything else on top of it. This is not a typical dish, but it's what you have the ability to do with this wine.
Agreed. So that is delicious.
Nice pairing,
It's
beautiful
really
pairing.
Yeah. Thanks, Mateo.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think.
Thank Chris, that was good.
Well, and
Great,
as we
great.
progress now, rapidly, of course, into the holidays, now that it's like fall, I start thinking about entertaining at home and what I can make that would be really unique and fun. And living here in wine country, we see the gamut of everything from fancy pants down to the most simplest of ways of entertaining. But this appetizer with a cab, how perfect for a holiday party would this be?
It's a great marriage
Yeah.
between the two, I think. You know, they complement each other so well.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll get little baby beef Wellingtons too. That would be fun as an appetizer with this. You know, really there are those people that are going to start out the party and they go, I don't drink white. You know, and so you've got to start them out in that kind of little zone where they can really approach a Cabernet at the beginning point, because you're probably going to go big on them later in the evening.
Yeah.
And this is that really approachable kind of Cabernet that a lot of people are going to like. You know, both men, women, all sorts of different types of people are going to love this one.
Bottom line, it's a terrific Cabernet. It's balanced, it's well made, it's food friendly, and it's made from this mom and pop fabulous operation in the Dry Creek Valley, which you wouldn't know about it unless you heard about it on Allvino. Allvino, American wine, all the time. This is a win-win situation. Let's give
Here,
that
here,
spark.
good job.
Cheers.
Thanks for
Yes.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
guys.
Yeah, I love it.
I like it.
Fantastic.
I like it
Such a
because
great
mine's
pairing.
gone.
It's good.
Well, I have to say, not like the last couple wines haven't been so exciting that I've tried today, but this particular wine, if the name doesn't just kill it alone, I'm so excited. Really, super great. The Bootleg Society, okay? Speakeasy Red. I've got two
I want
distillers
that
at the
already.
table today. This couldn't be
This is
more
my wine.
perfect. This could not be more perfect. I had an opportunity to try this wine about a month ago, and I could not believe it when I saw it this morning. I'm like, oh, I love this wine. It's made by Saint Amant Winery, which is located in Lodi. Legendary winery in Lodi, makes some terrific wines, and this is a blend that they're doing, and I could not actually be more excited, not only because we have two distillers at the table, and I'm talking about bootlegs, I'm talking about speakeasies, but we are right here at the Shelville Grill in Sonoma County where everything goes. Just saying. And Chef Matt has prepared an extraordinary pairing for us today, and I think we need to dive. This is what that kind of wine is like. Yeah, no formalities. We're diving right into it. It says speakeasy. It says bootleg. It's right up my alley.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cheers, guys.
oh yeah.
Cheers.
There you go. Chin chin.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right.
So, a great thing about Ziggy
Big
and I,
nose.
we've actually been to this winery a number of times, but we went there last year and we had a fantastic time just learning more about the vineyards. They have a lot of old vines, so we're assuming, even though it doesn't say on the bottle, that this is Zinfandel based. But they also grow some great port grapes. So you're talking about Turgo Nacional and Titacao and things like that.
But I'm not
and
tasting
Tempranillo.
Tempranillo.
And
Yes.
Tempranillo.
That's what I'm getting. That's
So
Right in the
they
nose?
never,
Just taste
remember,
it.
this
Yeah,
is
it is.
underground. This is speakeasy
Wow.
material, so they never tell you exactly what's in there, but they're very well known for their old vine Zinfandel, and this is
No, that's
spicy.
sweetness.
It's
Oh, yeah.
got that sweet core fruit of that blackberry, boysenberry kinds of notes, but also those essences of spice all
Yeah.
around your mouth. It's an awesome wine.
It's a cornucopia of deliciousness.
Yes.
That's what I
It's a
say.
great description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matthew, tell us a little bit about this pairing that we've got right
Yeah.
here.
Well, what we did, this one is our pulled pork. So it's a pulled pork with a little bit of papaya, chipotle, black pepper, barbecue. More lighter on the barbecue style because I don't like it too wet. And that's what you're going to be trying now, so I hope you all enjoy it. And I
All
think
right.
Yeah.
Well, this seems like a perfect barbecue type of wine too.
Yes.
Kind of it complements it and also balances out. I would think. I haven't tried
Have a
it
taste.
yet,
Tell me what
yeah.
you think.
A good point there that Matt pointed out is just that You know, this wine is from Lodi, a great area here in California. We love it. We're here in Sonoma County, and we're trying it with some of our foods that are super regional foods, especially Matthew's stuff. It's all local produce, and the meat is local. And what we got here is a wine that can go all different places. It doesn't matter where you're at in the United States. Try this wine with different things. It's brilliant. You know, it doesn't matter the situation you're in. You bring it and make friends real easy.
Perfect, you know, for you to say that, for me to segue into saying my sister lives in Virginia, and one of the things she loves this time of year is chili. She loves to make chili, and to have a great big bowl of chili, maybe some cheddar cheese on top together with this wine, that is winning. Yeah, delicious.
Oh my God.
No, this is a special find.
This is fireworks.
Yeah, it is.
Fireworks inside her mouth
Yeah.
right now.
This is fireworks. We're talking fire. This is.
No. And, you know,
Really good.
The spiciness really works perfectly with the, you know, the complexity of this little dish here. And the papaya actually really helps it too. I mean, it's that nice freshness of the vegetables and the fruit that are here. You know, you've got the onion it's beautiful. It's just really this is what you want in this time of the year. Absolutely.
And you know, if you're cooking something at home and you want to try and replicate this, you don't have a fancy pan smoker, you don't have all the time in the world to do it. One of the things that I like to do is use my slow cooker.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is brown the pork tenderloin at first, you know, and then you can chop it up, and then you can put it in your slow cooker for the day with some of the onions and some of the other spices, and just put it at a low temp all day. And then when you come home, you can fancy it up and, you know, add some barbecue sauce or add some other elements to it that'll give it that little bit of wetness, but it'll shred really easily. And that's something that they, right, Chef? That I think they can do at home easily.
It's perfect. You don't need a smoker if you do certain things on your stovetop.
Yeah.
And let it cook all day. I was always, being from the Midwest, I was always a fan of the crock pot.
Yeah.
That crock pot.
But now they've gotten upgraded, so I mean, the new crock pot, they're
now
okay.
it's a slow cooker.
Yeah.
It's an absolute staple in my kitchen. It's a staple in my kitchen.
But chili with this wine, that's the stamp right on it.
Well,
It
I
really
like
is.
this wine. It's pretty robust and pretty heavy. But with what Mateo's made, this is so cool because you have your fruits and your veggies in there, and it's lighter, and so it pairs really well. It kind of brings the lightness up in the wine.
And the
It's not
tangy
so
finish
heavy altogether.
of the food with it. I mean, it just like frames it perfectly.
But
You're
you
like,
know
oh.
what's awesome about this? It's really a surprise in a glass.
Yeah.
It honest to goodness is, because you really don't know what the exact blend is.
Nope.
And
It's a
that's
hidden
the surprise, and that's the secret. But that's what's great about it.
It's a speakeasy.
Yeah.
The balance is incredible.
It really, really is a surprise, and it's wonderful. It's a great surprise.
From the nose to the finish, cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Speakeasy. It's a bootleg red. My kind of deal. All right. Enjoy, everybody.
Cheers.